Hello YouTubers, this is the Noobifier, and welcome to another no bullshit video. My videos are short and to the point. If you like what I'm doing, please check out my other content and subscribe to keep up to date. Here we go. Star Citizen aims to be unlike anything ever made. When completed, Synchronized Local Physics Grids was one of the many groundbreaking features that were part of Chris Roberts' vision. If you want to check out another quick breakdown of another key feature, procedural generation, please follow this link. So the reason we're talking about physics grids right now is 2 nights ago I watched it work for the first time, as intended, seamlessly, without any glitches or bugs. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I was really impressed with the fact that it was working at all. Brickyard, Starhawk, and myself were exploring the persistent universe, and we ended up at the Crya security port. After performing a sick maneuver I like to call explojection, we were all stranded with only one 300i.
I'm facing the way that Starhawk is facing.
Yeah, Starhawk's looking directly at me.
So if he's looking directly at you, then I'll see you.
All right, here comes.
I'm up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Noobifier for science. Mr. Noobifier, check him out on YouTube. Noobifier 1337.
Ejecting. Danger.
Ejecting.
System.
Oh shit! Success! I'm out.
Did you get it?
Yeah,
He's still alive?
I'm alive, brother.
Nice.
The 300 is a single-seater fighter with a small cargo area. Brickyard was about to shut down the stream for the night, and we figured it would be much cooler to fly all the way back to Port Olisar. A physics grid is nothing new to video games. It's evolved over the years, but basically it's a surface within the game environment. Normally, all players in the server use the same basic grid. Some games even animate elevators or moving pads, giving a player more dynamic experience. Being moved in the grid is very common. Where it becomes a lot more complicated is pushing into the types of goals that Star Citizen has set. I thought it would be best to approach this video as a set of situations and the programming challenges they pose. I'm doing it this way so I can showcase these cutting-edge game mechanics as they're becoming a reality. At its most simplest terms, a starship is basically a grid within a grid. When making a physics grid within a moving object, the challenge is really making sure that the player movement remains smooth. For the experience to be immersive, it must seem like real life. This is not entirely easy to code when the floor is moving. When the dynamic object or ship is being rendered in 3 dimensions and 6 degrees of movement, the player model needs to be firmly stuck to the floor and not clip out of the object. The clipping is getting better. There's still some issues with it, but so far I'm really happy with what I see. When an object is able to travel at incredible velocity and make rapid changes, these ship movements and the player need to jump in unison to seem real. When a player object will seamlessly be handed from one instance over to the next without interruption, the independent object and all of its contents will need to smoothly animate and follow the player into the other grids. The object must be able to be released at any time with the appropriate physics, i.e. drifting away, falling to the ground, being placed in a crate, or being given to another player. When I see that work for the first time, I'm going to be literally blown away. So damage states and local physics grids have some complications as well. When dealing with damage states, in this case a large ship can be torn into 2 or more grids with their own resulting physics. Ideally in this situation, 2 players could occupy one ship that gets split into 2 parts. Each player would need to seamlessly experience a ship being broken into many pieces, and then drifting away with 2 or more grids. That's another big milestone I'm looking forward to. The player will have technically unlimited choice to interact with many objects that reside within the grid. The local grid would need to be able to handle possibly hundreds of objects, each needing to remain within the grid as it moves. And then further complicating all of that, if gravity fails, the objects would need to start to move based on their mass and velocity. So what's really exciting is that they're actually attempting this, and that we've already seen some functional demos. And what about the scenario where an object itself would have to be transitioned from one local grid to space and then to a separate local grid? The server would need to basically be able to transition an object from grid to grid through EVA. A person should technically be able to throw an object between 2 floating ships in space, with all the physics calculated and applied to that object. I've already touched on this one a little bit, but basically turning gravity on and off is turning the grid on and off. It would seem really routine to turn on and off gravity, but that's basically turning on and off a local physics grid. All the assets would have to be released to the main grid. When CIG is able to demonstrate this seamlessly, it's going to be a huge accomplishment in simulator technology. When the colliding mass of an object will transfer into a player grid, transferring with it all of the inertia. All objects from small bolts to starships have mass. One grid is going to transfer its mass to the other, based on direction, velocity, and the mass. Don't forget about planetary gravity. All this is going to factor in as well. And then finally, the complications associated with landing a ship on a procedurally generated planet. When transitioning your ship into a planetary landing site like ARCorp Zone 18, all AI and players at the destination would technically be able to interact with all of your objects. I really consider myself a technical person. Understanding how they propose to put all this stuff together is very interesting to me. The video today was meant to expand on some of the technical hurdles and basically what all the fuss is about. I hope this video brought into light how cutting edge Star Citizen aims to be. With each patch, I've seen the evolution of the game hit milestone after milestone. Even the haters that say it's impossible are watching Star Citizen as it continues to push beyond what is possible in a video game. If you like what I'm doing here, please take the time to explore some of my other videos. If you're already a subscriber, thanks for that, and stay tuned. My goal is to grow this channel, and I can't do that without you. Please take care, and I'll see you in the verse.